You know, sometimes just looking at a picture that's beautiful, like the sunset there. See that? Do you see the sunset there? Where's it? There. Boop. Sometimes just looking at colors or nature or landscape, or maybe buying yourself something from nature, that sometimes we just have to soothe soothe ourselves because there's so much going on. I was earlier outside and my neighbor was honking the horn like crazy because apparently another neighbor had his van blocking his area where he wanted to park his car in the back. He was visiting another friend. And then I just hear all this yelling, men yelling. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, drama. How much drama can I handle? I just don't know. I have my own drama to have to deal. It makes you want to just like get out your little music stuff. Let's see, I bought this little thing. It's supposed to help soothe you. Like, let me see if I can do it. It seems like it helps. I don't really know what I'm doing. Do you ever have one of those days where you just like, okay, maybe weeks or maybe a month? This last couple weeks have been like traumatized just from reading some of the stuff and then feeling overwhelmed and not knowing what to do. And then all those freaking crazies out there. Then they, try to turn it on you and say that you're the one that's crazy or has the screw loose. Get real. You know what? There's so much evil out there. It's frustrating to me. You try to go and help, and then they just project back on you. Projection. That's a form of witchcraft. Did you know that? Where they go, oh no, you're the one that's the problem. Really? Because I'm trying to hold you accountable for selling me something that you didn't have the right to sell? Like I just had to buy a car, right? From my neighbor. I already tried the dealerships and all that, but they have their rules and regulations where they have to report everything to the DMV and hand over your title to the state. And I was like, no, I don't want to go that route. I want to go the route of private sale, like 21 pieces of silver. I want to be able to, use lawful money. Things that we don't have right now. And let's do a trade like the Indians or the Native Americans used to do trades. Let's do it like that. So I'm all thinking, I'm not about harming anyone. That's not me. I'm not about harming anyone. I want to do it for it's beneficial. So my neighbor, who is no longer my neighbor because he took the money and ran. Come to find out, he didn't even have his name on the title of the car. He never registered it. And it had someone else's name. When I asked him, he says, it's my uncle. I'm like, well, it needs to be in your name if you're going to sell it to me. I can't do anything. I'm feeling verklempt or overwhelmed. And I come to find out he gets it from a tow yard for $300. He ran and got an apartment with what I gave him. And he lied about the car. He said it was a certain year. It was 2 years older than it was. He said it was in excellent condition and it's fair. I just took it into the mechanics for 3 days and spent $2,000 getting a new radiator, new struts. The oil thing was leaking and it needed all these gaskets and all that. And now the airbag light is on. I like the car. It's a great car. It's just that he oversold it to me when he shouldn't have. What did he do to me? He harmed me. And it's extortion, larceny, theft, lies. What he did was illegal. And yet he wants to say, oh, I'm gonna complain to the county and I'm gonna tell the landlord on you and I'm gonna do this and you're the one that's illegal. I'm like, really? No. He goes, I'm an honest businessman. Well, Tipton, you're not. You're not an honest businessman. You're a thief and a liar. And may the Lord rebuke you and the Lord deal with you. May the Lord open up the eyes of your understanding so that you may be enlightened to know what is the hope and the calling of the inheritance in the saints. And may the Lord bless you and keep you and make his face to shine upon you. And guess what? When we bless those who use us and with ill-gotten gain, when we bless them, if they're not deserving of the blessing, it comes back on us. Does that sound fair? That sounds really good to me. So instead of cursing them because of the reprobate that they are, we want to pray for them who spitefully use us and hurt us. That's called turning the other cheek. It's very difficult to do. So I haven't been doing any YouTubes because I have been wrestling with my feelings and kind of going there. It kind of took me all the way back to when I was 5 years old. But sometimes people that you trust, they say, hey, want to play a game? Let's do this. It's going to be fun. You're going to love it. Come on over. And it's not a game at all. No, it's a trick. It's a trap. When they harm you, take your innocence away from you, it can take you back to the first time that you believed someone that they had good intentions to take care of you. And that's what I learned when I took criminology. Criminology 101. Whoever has access to you can harm you. Maybe you go to a hair salon or something and you put your purse in the chair next to you. If someone has access to your purse, they can steal from you. Maybe you put your keys down in the bathroom somewhere, then you left them there and you didn't know what to do with them. I'm just making up all these stories. Maybe it's your kids because you have money in your purse and then they take it from you. Maybe someone swipes your credit card when you're at the store through a device that they have, and they steal from you. You feel violated. And the only thing you can do is get busy with de-stressing activities. I decided I'm going to paint a picture because I got my studio art degree and I did do some animation, which I haven't been doing. And I tried looking for this electronic device that I purchased from some conference a few years ago. And then I opened it up and it didn't even start working. So now I'm going to have to go online and I have to go through their email because they don't answer the phone and try to see if I can get this electronic device that I can do to do some sketching. it's just so overwhelming. If it's not one thing, it's another. Anyways, I went ahead and went to the store and I bought some of these, what do they call them? Easels. Can you see them? Can you see? Can you see this? I'm disappearing. Ooh. Can you see any of that? I decided to start sketching. Can you see any of it? Oh, it's disappearing. Isn't that funny? Like the CGI. Wow, look at that. So there's our cool right there. Hey, our cool and his lady and the grandkids. He's so sweet. He's one of my subscribers here. So I'm doing a little portrait. I'm just, trying to think positive amongst all the negative stuff. And take care of myself. Sometimes we have to take a break when things get too intense. Because you don't want to end up like, I don't know, sucking your thumb in the corner, like in the fetal position. But maybe that's okay for some people. I don't want to be there. I want to go out and walk with my dog, go to the dog park, do a few little TikToks from my dog. I mean, with my dog, because I'm a dog lover, dog mama. But I like going over some of the videos that I've read because then I don't have to strain my eyes with having to read things, boring things. It makes you want to fall asleep. So it's been very helpful to just re-listen to the videos that I need to listen to. And I just wanted to put out a comforting word to anybody who needs comfort, because the more you find out about the bad stuff, the evil things, or the more that people trespass against you and they go unpunished, or it appears that they go unpunished, it's like it makes the heart sick, It's very discouraging. And I want to thank Christopher Hauser and Robert Dixon, the different ones who've been, encouraging us, giving us information. I don't like false hope. I want it to be real. And being a hairdresser and having clients, a lot of people are really being indoctrinated by the television, the media, the news. They have a lot of false beliefs. It's really bad. And it's very difficult for me as a provider, because they come to me because they want to feel good, right? But if I maybe speak up or say something that goes against their whole delusion, it could be detrimental to me. I lose business, or they could try to report me, or this or that, whatever. It's bad. It's difficult. It's hard to hold your tongue when you have a lot of people being inculcated, which that means constant indoctrination every day. They see it, they hear it on the radio, they see it on the TV, their friends all do it. They all, do this. They all do that. They are like all the sheep going through the wide path, the wide gate that's getting ready to go down the hill, like over the cliff. And we're promised about seeking the Lord Most High, and his ways are higher than our ways. Sometimes we've had education and we've been totally inculcated, indoctrinated into different ideologies like spinning globe and landing on the moon, and that there might be aliens from outer space, and germ theory and all these different things. It works well for those corporations who hire all those people who are indoctrinated to follow the steps and just obey orders. It works well for those. But when you come to the realization, because you've done your own research, you've done your own scientific experiments, you see with your eyes, you hear with your ears, you do your own research, and then you try to tell people, come out of the cave, come out of the dark. Let's go out into the light. See, there's a sun. It's close. It's not as far as they say. Well, then they can start labeling you. Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, you are. No, there are conspiracies. Even Abraham Lincoln said that the land was bloodied by the Jesuits. The Jesuits are military hiding behind the cloth. So you're thinking that these people are, priestly, holy, religious type of people, but they're really military. And it's a strategy. It's a strategy. They're just, it's diabolical. And you've got the good cop, the bad cop. You got the red, you got the blue. Isn't that funny that the red pill, blue pill? It's just funny that there's this thing called the Hegelian dialectic. Hegel, I believe he was a sociologist, and he talked about creating the problem and then getting the response of the people. And then all of a sudden having the solution, which they had planned already all along. It's a psychological thing. It's like gaslighting. You know what gaslighting is? Where you just keep telling the person that you're crazy, you're a kook, you're this, you're that, when it's just gaslighting to get the heat off of them, to put it on the other ones, to the one who's researching and investigating or trying to hold someone accountable. They do that. That is a narcissistic trait right there. That is a sociopath that would try to project and label you because you're trying to ask them for accountability when they laugh in your face. There's this thing called cognitive dissonance. Cognition is the things in here that we think. And the dissonance is when we just, like in music, there's dissonance. There's things that, cognitive dissonance is when you tell somebody, we live on landmass, dirt, this stuff. We don't live on the water. We don't live on the sky. You think that we live on a spinning globe and that we're circling the sun? No, no, no. We live on landmass. The sun and the moon, they are the ones that spin. That circuit is in the heavens. Chug, hug, circuit of the earth is up in the heavens. And they're like, no, I have a degree. I've got many degrees and I studied this and yeah, well, I did too. And you know what? They lied. They lied to you. They're twisting on purpose. Yeah, because the elite, they've even announced and said it. Once the American people, everything they believe is the total opposite, then then we know we have them. You've got to know what you're hearing. You need to test all things, because even people who come across as nice to you, they can teach you total lies. If you have not studied it for yourself, or looked into it for yourself, or even looked at the definitions, please go to blueletterbible.org. Put on their circle up in the address bar. Look up the word circle. They take it from the word hug, which is a Hebrew word. Keep looking. It says it's in the heavens. The circle is in the heavens. It's not on the land mass. It's not a globe. Globe is a whole different ideology. Globalism, it's all about capturing the land, the air, and the water all together. Just grabbing it all. Got the whole world in my hand so I can manipulate it how I want. We don't live on a globe. We live on dirt, eretz, land mass. There's water around the land mass. There's no shape to earth. As you can see, there's an island over there, island over here. Maybe there's land underneath, like an iceberg. But dirt is dirt. Water is liquid water. Air is like gaseous, oxygenated air molecules. It's three exclusive separate things. So, of course, you got to know who, follow the money, follow the yellow brick road. When you go to a school, they're going to be tapping into your social security number, and you're going to be paying for your own education, as well as maybe your parents and yourself contributing if you go for the double dipping, because they're already tapping your Sistike V Trust. They're already tapping that money. Or if you had a DD 214, which is what I had from the military, when you get discharged, you get a piece of paper. They're like, hey, give us that, and we'll give you 4 credits for, whole class so you don't have to take towards your degree. I'm like, okay. How does that make sense? Aren't I not supposed to be taking required classes so I don't skip out on my education? I mean, what a temptation is that, right? But they probably took a ton of money and I became the philanthropist for their school to build it, right? That's what they do. They probably asked for your, I don't know, transcripts, which could be attached to the social security number or birth certificate. I don't know. Probably even those degrees, for all I know, are bonds, because they have them on, the degrees are on bond paper. It's just like, like I just found out about my title of the car that I just lost, the one that I was in my car crash. I gave the title to the State Farm. They give me a little bit of change here, chump change, and they got the title. They're probably going to fix the car, have it salvage title, and keep getting all that money. And when I could have liquidated the title, I didn't know. And now I have a new one that I don't have title to because the guy who sold it to me didn't have the title to it. So it's just so frustrating. And I feel a little paralyzed myself. I don't know where to begin. Don't even know where to begin. It's so frustrating. I'll probably end up calling a State Farm. Maybe have to write a mistake letter. I don't even know if it's going to be worth all that. I don't even know where to begin. It's so much work. It's exhausting. So that's when you do your painting and use avoidance techniques. Sometimes you do self-soothing. So you can calm down, get your blood pressure down. because you can get a lot of anxiety. You can get high blood pressure, right? You don't want your body to start having symptoms of stress. Like, people even grind their teeth at night. Did you know that? Like, you could break your teeth too and grind them. Sometimes you can start to get that little, what do they call that? Turkey jowl neck thing, because you're snoring at night, because you're not sleeping through the night. So you got to learn how to self-soothe, right? There's a lot of stress. You got to learn how to self-soothe. And then just work on one thing at a time, if you can. Sometimes I'm doing 3 things at the same time. And then you got to try to have your normal life, because you don't want to be robbed of your relationships in your life either, right? So balance. It's good to have balance. Because it just seems like your enemy, or the enemy of our souls, would want to get us off balance, and that's how they can attack us, cause us to fall. And it's very important to know the truth, and the truth will make you free. Know that there is a creator. He created us. He can dwell in us if we invite him in to come and dwell in us. Clean us out, clean out all those rooms that maybe we didn't know what to do when we were little kids. So we put it on a shelf. But now we're old enough, we can kind of go back and look at that trigger. Someone just lied to me. Someone just stole from me. Where else did that happen? That happened when I was younger. That happened yesterday. How can we keep falling for the same thing? We might need to clean out that closet. See? Something needs to come out. We need to get deliverance. And sometimes that outward manifestation of a cough or a sneeze is something that we're getting out of our temple. This is our temple. We are the custodians of our temple. We are called to protect and preserve our life. So if we stay rooted and grounded in the truth, you need to know what the truth is in order for the truth to make you free. If you keep falling for the lies and the indoctrination or the propaganda, then you're going to be stolen from too. We can't always believe everything we see and hear. We have to test everything. Study, research, pay attention. And that's how we have to walk. And it's a narrow path. Everybody's walking the wide path and just believing. But we're called to know the truth, and the truth will make us free. So walk in the truth. Take care of yourself. Take some breaks. Examine yourself to see if you're walking in the right way. If you've done something, you need to confess it. Get it out. If something was done to you, you need to analyze that and say, how did that happen to me? Well, I was a little 5-year-old little girl. I just believed somebody. So we're not 5 anymore, So you can't just keep doing like that. You have to grow up from glory to glory. And that's the path. In order to be perfect, which means mature, we have to grow up from glory to glory to glory. That's how we learn. And that's how we become accountable. And that's how we become leaders too. First your babes, then your sons, and then your fathers or daughters and mothers. And in order for us to cross over to the other side, to be Hebrew is those from the other side. They crossed over. In order to be spiritual, you have to grow up in your understanding and have a higher understanding. And can't be babes. You know, you can't stay a baby. You have to grow up. We're called to be perfect as he is perfect. Be ye perfect as I am perfect. Perfect means mature. Doesn't mean perfectionistic. It doesn't mean OCD. It doesn't mean rigid. It means mature. And if we want to grow up in our understanding, we need to be mature. We need to see all the signs. You need to know those signs from those reprobate people who are going to be doing love bombing on you, telling you all the things that you want to hear. And then once they get what they got, they're like, cast you out. And they start vilifying you and start harassing you, saying that you're harassing them because you're trying to get accountability. There are some very evil, dark people in these days. And I don't mean dark as in anything but their character and their mind. Their mind is darkened to the truth and to the light. That's what I mean. Because there will be people that come with the great costume. They look perfect. They look great. They're dressed to the T. That could be a sign right there too, that there's insecurity. If everything looks too perfect, that's something to look into. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I didn't read anything today, but I just thought I would mention all the things that I've been having to deal with myself and the different ones around me and just the atmosphere. We're going to get a lot of things thrown at us, but we have to make sure that we just don't run with whatever the first thing we hear. You better do some research about it and test everything. And that's my message for the day.